and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Vote blue no matter who. Progressives, blue check marks, Bernie, AOC. The Biden administration is falling apart. Democrats are falling apart. And the thing is, we see through their facade. We see that they're hypocrites. We see that they're frauds. They don't give a damn about working class issues. They say things that we want to hear, but they'll never follow through with it. And corporate media is quickly going to bat for the Biden-Harris administration. Lauren, have you been impressed by what the Democrats are doing?
I mean, what are they doing?
They're asking for money.
Oh, that part.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, honestly, look, here's the thing. They could codify Roe v. Wade. They could do it right now, but...
All I keep getting is ads saying, we need to codify. It's like, yes, thank you.
Yes.
Kamala, thank you.
Yes, give us...
Warren, thank you all of you. Thank you for
money.
this ad.
Give us... what the Democrats are saying, and I'm going to quote this from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Money me! Money me now! I like money! Money good! That's who these politicians are. So Jimmy Dore was right calling out the Democrats. We here at Heartland's Media were right calling them out. And so is everyone else in independent media. Now, when we say call them out, that doesn't mean we're going to be friends with the Republican establishment. Screw that. They're just as disgusting as the Democratic Party. The only thing I could say that's maybe nice about them, at least they're up front with their BS. If they're going to give me the middle finger, I know that that's an authentic, genuine middle finger. That's like, okay, that's honesty right there. I can deal with that. But what I can't deal with is the fact that now you have corporate media quickly saying, well, maybe progressives are being too rough on the Democrats. Maybe we need to be nicer.
Okay.
Here, check out this first segment.
Okay.
Again, shout out to Case Study QB.
And Europe is facing the inflation that we're facing. And what's so striking is that Europeans are not blaming their governments the way we blame our government for the inflation. There are a number of issues. I mean, the president, hasn't been perfect. The president promised a Build Back Better bill and clearly didn't have the votes, and I think hurt himself in the process. So it's not that this presidency has been perfect, but for him to be at 39%, he is in Watergate levels. I mean, he has fallen that far, and it doesn't make sense. There's no great scandal surrounding him. Yeah. We're helping an ally that's in a war. Usually Americans rally around the flag in such a circumstance. So the president, I think, is facing headwinds that are unusual. I would say a lot of it has to do with the pandemic and the fact that we still haven't recovered from COVID, in the sense that as a nation we still have an economy that it reflects COVID, and some people are still getting sick. So I think there are a lot of reasons. I think we've been really hard on this president, more than we have been on his modern predecessors, frankly.
Biden.
God, that guy looks like a
We've been
cheap
so hard
dime store
on him.
version of Snoopy. Okay, so basically, folks, what the media is saying there, what that jagoff was saying to all of you was, yeah, Biden's getting an F-, but that doesn't mean we as, his people that he's supposed to represent and stand for, doesn't mean we need to be mean or critical. Yes, there's an inflation. Yes, there's COVID. Yes, there's an ongoing war. $40 billion for Ukraine, nothing for the American people, though. Corporations are still earning huge amounts of profit, but come on, guys. He's at Watergate level. That's not bad. I mean, look, there was a certain president that he resigned before he got impeached. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, come on, 39. His numbers are still falling under. Kamala Harris is least popular than him. I mean, it's not that bad. Hey, guys, let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 if you think it's just not that bad and that we're being too mean to Biden. Type 2 if finally you're feeling vindicated after so many times of being bombarded with vote blue no matter who propaganda saying that Biden will fix things and he'll be better than Trump and things will be great. Lauren, your thoughts?
One, nice Tony the Tiger impression. Appreciate it. One, I do think that they tend to blame the person who's in charge for the person before them's screw ups.
Right.
And then it carries on. And then if they don't take the steps that they could take in order to rectify at least some of it, at least show that they're trying, then absolutely we have to keep calling them out on it. Because it's like, yeah, is everything that is going on right now Biden's fault? No. Has he taken the appropriate steps to try to rectify that at all? Also, no. He's like, you have to actually do something or take the steps needed to do something. Make it obvious you're actually attempting to make a change. And that's not just having your reps tweet it out because everybody else, I think, is actually tweeting it out. I'm not sure if Biden has ever considered a tweet.
Look, Biden doesn't even know where he's at. He has those cue cards where they tell him, Joe, sit down. Wait for the press to enter. Accept a couple of questions. Get up and leave. I mean, the fact that he needs that, it tells me his cognitive abilities aren't there.
Trump had it too, though. Like, so.
Well,
like,
yeah.
But he had the same freaking cue cards, which I'm just like, why? Why do we keep electing?
Like,
well, we didn't really elect him. Trump, I mean, he lost the popular vote by a lot. But
the electoral college is what counts.
Regardless, twice in a row we have had a executive head of state that needed giant cue cards written in type 30 font to tell them where to go.
I think we've had a lot of presidents that need those cue cards. You know, there's Gerald Ford, who always kept on tripping. I mean, that had to cause some brain damage. You have George Bush Jr. Reagan probably needed those.
At the end, for sure.
Yeah, definitely Reagan at the end. You know what? I'm going to be mean here. I'm going to say Bill Clinton, too, and even Obama. Yeah.
Everyone needed... I mean...
Everyone needed them. Nothing will change.
I keep notes out. I have notes. But...
And also, by the way, I'm noticing RIK, he did say nothing will change, and nothing did fundamentally change because the Biden-Harris administration are still implementing a lot of Donald Trump's foreign and domestic policies. And it's just not just the Trump administration that led us to the disaster. It's the other previous administrations with their with their support for the economic system of neoliberalism and the policies that surround neoliberalism. And we are stuck in this endless void.
We're still suffering from all the stuff Reagan implemented.
Yeah, like what's been happening is Reagan passed the torch to Bush Sr., then to Clinton, then of course to Bush Jr., and to Obama, and since then nothing has changed. So it's an epic failure. But there's another video here where Biden is telling all of us progressives and everyone else, independents and everyone, he's the best we got. Hang on, and check this out.
Oh no.
Our politics lead today, President Biden called for a change in Senate filibuster rules to allow legislation protecting abortion rights to pass with 51 votes instead of requiring 60. During a news conference at the NATO summit, Biden was asked about criticism from progressives who say he isn't doing or saying enough to protect abortion rights in the United States.
Your views on abortion have evolved in your public life. Are you the best messenger to carry this forward when Democrats, many of them, many progressives, want you to do more?
Yeah, I am. I'm the President of the United States of America. That makes me the best messenger. I'm the only president they got.
I'm the only president they got. Let's bring in former Obama advisor David Axelrod. What do you make of that answer? I'm the only president these progressives have.
Hold on, let's pause it here. You have a thought?
It just... What kind of ego do you have to have on you to just come out, oh yeah, I'm the best one for the job, I'm the best and the only one they got. Like, wow, I'm the only... I mean, all right, I mean, we say that this regime is not very much different than the last one, in a quote. There it is. Yes, I'm the best one from the job because I'm the president of the United States. That makes me the best one for the job, and I'm the only president they've got. That's wild.
And here's the interesting twist, too. If Trump, and let's face it, Trump has said things similar to that as well. Do you have any idea how quick the media was to jump on that story? Like, oh, Trump thinks he's the only one that could solve America's problems. We gotta do something. Like, Trump is such an egomaniac. Like, Biden's doing the same thing, too. When we were covering the 2020 debates, not only for the primary, but for the 2020 general election, I described the face-off between Biden and Trump as two old men fighting over a cold bowl of soup. That's That's the whole thing. So if you're a diehard Trump supporter or a diehard vote blue no matter who, those are your two champions. You're going to bat for two senile, incompetent old men that don't like you, don't think about you, and don't respect you, and both have the egos to think that they could do the job better than the other guy, but they're both tyrants, they're both frauds, they're both hypocrites. And if you voted Trump or voted Democrat for Biden in the 2020 election cycle, then you're a sucker. You're a sucker to vote for the two-party system, and the Democratic Party right now is falling apart. And of course, the Republican Party, let's face it, it is just as dirty as the Democratic Party. If you are, and then, by the way, if you are a diehard Democratic voter or a diehard Republican voter, please type in the comment section below, and I just want a sincere answer, and be polite about it if you can. Why do you really think your party is so good? I mean, really, explain to me in detail why, with absolute high confidence, that you know that the that the honorable elected officials in Washington, D.C. care about you. Go ahead. Explain to me in detail why you do it. Because it's a fascinating study. Anyway, just want to put salt in the wound because it's quite clear we're seeing both parties being controlled by money. And yet there's diehard sycophant voters that will still vote for themselves. Like, yeah, I'm a Republican voter. I'm a Democratic voter.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a word for it. It's called you're being a sucker. Let's play the rest of the video.
Yeah, look, I have some sympathy for him because there are so many issues like this where there is a limit to what he can do at the moment. You know, people say, well, let's do away with a filibuster, and he, of course, endorsed that today. But he doesn't have, Jake, you know this, he doesn't have 50 votes to do away with the filibuster, and he doesn't really have a magic wand that can create that or make 48 votes the requirement to change the rule. And so, you know, but there is this, there's a strong passion about this issue out there, and people want him to do something to, and so, you know, there's a frustration, I'm sure, on his part. It was not the best answer. I will give you that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best answer.
Let's have democracy in chat. Hey, folks, are you now laughing it up, seeing the fact that the Biden-Harris administration is imploding? Type 3 if you are. Type 4 if you're just done with politics, with everything. There we go. I just wanted to see if everyone's just burnt out by it. But I got one final video to put a nail in the coffin for the Democratic Party and this administration.
All right.
The vice president's going to speak.
Wait.
Let's hear her out.
What do you say to Democratic voters who argue, wait a minute, we worked really hard to elect a Democratic president and vice president, Democratic-led House, a Democratic-led Senate. Do it now.
But do what now? What now? I mean, listen, what we did, we extended the child tax credit for the first year.
I'm sorry, when I say do what, do it now.
Yeah.
Act legislatively to make abortion rights legal.
We feel the same way. Do it now. Congress needs to do it now in terms of permanently putting in place a clear indication that it is the law of the land that women have the ability and the right to make decisions about their reproductive care, and the government does not have the right to make those decisions for a woman.
What do you say to Democratic voters?
All right, so
Okay, so she just said the same thing. She just repeated it. She didn't. The question was, what do you say to people? What do you say for the people who are saying you should do it now? She's like, yeah, we should do it now. But what? Why are you not doing it? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The question is, what are you going to do? Except, you can't just agree. You can't just agree. You have to come up with something you have to have something to say.
I 100% agree with what you're saying. The thing is, and this is the problem that all of us are seeing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure your friends have been talking about it. Our viewing audience has been seeing this firsthand. That is, the Democratic Party and these politicians, like the Republican Party, are saying things to their voters that we want to hear. And the real truth about why everything's falling apart. Let's look at the Democratic Party and Republican Party. And Daniel really put this in perspective. The Republican Party is your abusive, alcoholic father that will beat you. The Democratic Party is the pill-popping mom that manipulates you. She'll say that she loves you, and occasionally your alcoholic father who beats you says they'll love you, but then they'll go right back to abusing you physically and mentally. And for a long time, the American people have been trained to deal with this abuse and say that this is normal, and we have accepted this. Jimmy Dore is right. We are the children of alcoholics. And the sad fact is, nothing's going to get better until we, as mature adults, make a clean breakaway from the Democratic and Republican parties. Now, that means, yes, the same two-party system's still in, but we got to build movements and infrastructure that is not connected to Washington, D.C. Look, I had hopes for Bernie Sanders in 2020. I really thought he'd do it. I really thought that there would be a different campaign in 2016. I made that mistake by having confidence in a politician. Dumb idea. And Bernie Sanders running in 2024, nothing's going to change because we saw how he bowed out in 2020, calling Joe his good friend. And that's where we're at now. So the Democratic Party's falling apart. And anyone that's telling you we got to vote Democrat, we got to vote Democrat, if the Democrats cared about women's reproductive rights, they would have codified Roe v. Wade way early on. They didn't do it. If they cared about any single issue, including the Congressional Progressive Caucus, if they cared about forced to vote or Medicare for all, they would have done something. They didn't. We have to be the leaders. It's always been up to us. These politicians are okay with you starving, losing your home, losing your business. That's the Democratic and Republican Party. And yes, this segment is titled "The Democratic Party's Falling Apart" because it is. Get out of the burning house. And anyone else that wants to stay there and somehow assume that the party's going to change, it's not. They don't like you, they don't think about you, and they don't respect you. You're better than them. Any other final words?
No, it's just annoying to see her just repeating the same things over and over. I want to hear something that means anything at all. Tell me what your plan is. Don't just say, yeah, we need to codify it. Because I've been seeing ads. The ads keep showing up with Kamala and AOC and Warren and all of these progressive leaders showing up on all of my feeds saying, we have to codify the vote now. It's like, yeah, okay, well, why are you just doing this in an advertisement?
Do it. Do it now.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, I want to add one final note. From CryoSense42 tipped us $5. Note, Kamala said, put in place an indication it's the same as an access to health care. Burning words, but these are the truth.